Hello.
I'm having my own party. Here we go. Hold on. I had to do a little pre-rock music.
I loved it. I love getting started with a little all right now.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Wonderfully. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Awesome. This is so fun because this is the first time we've actually sat down and talked since the show. You know, I should have probably had you and me, but we're going to do another one of those later and talk more about your profession, and it's super cool.
Yep.
So, hi, cousin. Hey, cousin Candace. So we're waiting for Grant. He's been a little busy with his job, hasn't he?
Yeah, he started in a new role or a new position. Actually, a nice, very good for him. But they had, and I guess the company's working for him. They're doing like a new product launch this week. So I think he's been completely swamped.
Yeah, because he's usually very in the IG, all in the
Yep.
Instagram, and then he's just been MIA
Yeah.
for a little bit. So he's buried. I know. He says 13 to 14 hours a day he's working.
Yeah, right now, while they get this product launch out, I think he's going to basically be, completely missing in action for the next few days.
Okay. Well, at least we've captured him, hopefully. Maybe we'll just wait a little bit. So what?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because last night he was also supposed to be with us with Philip, but he had to decline. So I don't know. I don't know if he reached out to me today.
Well, we have plenty to talk about. It might be.
Yeah, you and I can talk. You and I can talk forever. So.
Perfect.
Yeah, we could talk forever.
I know. We had a great conversation at the house, and no, you're awesome. So. Well, I guess we should just get started because there's actually a lot. I have all my notes and stuff.
Wow!
Look.
And I thought I was the attorney
here.
Oh, there's Grant. All right, Grant. All right, nice.
Because he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
With the
all right,
guy,
Grant.
whatever. Come on, Grant. Come on up.
Good. I'm glad to see you made it.
Let's see if he's joining.
Yeah.
Can you get on, Grant? Hey, everybody. Welcome. Grant, can you invite yourself in and I'll accept you?
I don't know. Maybe he's
I'm here.
Grant.
I requested. Okay, let me see. Where is this? We have a lot of people coming in right now. It's cool. Let's see.
He's saying you need to invite.
Nope. You gotta invite. You gotta accept. You gotta say I want to be on, and then I'll accept.
Hi, Dania.
Hi,
hey,
Dania.
Thank you, young soy. Thanks for being a big fan of me. I appreciate that.
Okay, I invited Grant. That's the first time I've had to invite somebody. Newbies.
Oh,
hey!
There he is.
Hey.
How are ya?
Good.
Can
How are
you
you
put your
guys?
phone down a little bit so we can see your head?
Yeah.
There you go.
Big
Your
boy.
face. How are you guys doing?
Let me slide it in. How about that? Is that better? Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. Are you coming up for air for this little siesta we're having here for 30 minutes for you?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, so hopefully it'll end this weekend.
Well, what everybody doesn't know about Grant is that he's in promotions, and so he has this huge client that he's just been underwater with all day, every day, and he's usually very engaged with everything and everyone. And this week has just been is he alive? What's going on? So the job always comes first, right? You gotta pay the bills.
In fact, this is a good time for people to go to 12roundsmedia.com and learn about how we can help your business grow.
There you go. There's the plug. So anyway, I just want to thank you guys for coming on tonight. One of the reasons why I had you both on, I mean, I know you guys are a dynamic duo, and it's not you're not important alone, but I know you have some things that you're doing together, and I wanted to have you guys do that together, but I'm going to have you on later, like down the road, and talk about your individual cool lives that you enjoy. And we'll touch on that a little bit tonight. But, you know, a lot of people that's coming on tonight, they want to hear about, you know, Joel and I had a good connection and wanted to talk about a little bit about the date. I wanted to talk to Grant about more in depth about the Kiki date and all that. So we're going to go through some of the questions that some people have asked. First of all, just to start off, I wanted to people are wanting to know, like, how did you guys just quickly get onto the show? I mean, what was the process because everybody has a different process to get on the show. You know what I mean? So I know I had one that was different than you guys, but I don't know how you guys fared on that. So just Joel, why don't you go first and tell me real quick about tell everybody real quick about what how you got on My Mom, Your Dad casting.
Yes, so I think you and I had a little bit of a similar thing in that we were first reached out to a couple of years ago before COVID.
Yeah.
So I've been was in the holding pattern for really a couple of years. Well, up to this point, but yeah, someone found me. One of the casting people found me on I think Instagram.
Okay.
And reached out to me and sent me a DM, and I thought it was a scammer. And they're like, hey, you know, would your son be interested in nominating you for something like this? And then basically kind of the whole ball started that way. But yeah, so someone approached me, you know, from the casting side, like it was almost about 2 years ago now.
Okay, yeah, it was 2 years, and then I had a couple COVID boyfriends, and then they called me a month after the last boyfriend we broke up, and they're like, "Are you single?" I'm like, "Yes," and I kept myself single until the show.
Look at you. Yeah, I didn't have any COVID girlfriends, man. I was locked down. Like, I don't know. It wasn't for lack of trying. I just didn't have any success during COVID.
Oh, my gosh. Well, how about you, Grant? You had your daughter.
Yeah, this is like, yeah, no, it's a crazy story because it was, she graduated from college, last May. And so I got 3 kids. And so I'm taking them all, we're going out for steak dinner and just take a couple of shots. And you have to remember, at this point, I was probably 50 pounds overweight. So and I'm not even on Instagram personally. I help other people grow theirs, but I never do it myself. So I had like 110 people following me. So I just post pictures of me and the kids, and some guy reached out and followed me the next day. And so then I followed him back, which was courtesy, especially when you're growing like, one follower at a time. And then he immediately hits me with a message. But okay, it's a scam. But then his message was, do you want to be on this show? And I'm just like, there's just no way. So I ignored him for like 5 or 6 hours, but then I started to research him. And, they were legit, and they were doing a Gordon Ramsay show and all this. So I reached out and said, yeah, I'll talk to you. What's the worst that can happen? And that got the ball rolling. That was actually literally about a month, maybe 6 weeks before we flew out. So it moved very quickly. And
I know when Joel and I were invited a couple years prior, the COVID, they were supposed to film the show that we were on that fall, and then the COVID happened, and then it just the time pushed along. But so I think most of the people that were originally selected were already partnered with somebody at that point.
Yeah.
They were not single, so they had to like hurry up and try to find some other really great candidates. So that's cool.
Let me throw this out here because this is interesting. And this is sort of an inside source, but it was told to me not far after the show that one of the reasons there's a lot of late casting is that some of the other people they had cast had tested positive for STDs during all the blood work that they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of them. And so, yeah.
I said, no. I said this to Kiki, and she's like, oh, well, we don't want to, the people that have like HIV. But I said, girl, here's the deal. We are tested like 20 different tests, psychological tests, physical tests.
Yeah.
People don't know this in casting. Like, they wanted to make sure if somebody went into the romance room and had sex, basically, that they were clean so that they wouldn't come back to be liable for some sort of disease that they contracted through the show, right? So it's very stringent, everybody. This isn't like, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna sign up and let's go. No, you have to go through credit checks and psychological tests and disease tests, blood tests, urine tests, fecal tests. I mean, all sorts of things. Therapists, psychological psychologists. I mean, it's pretty intense, you guys. So
well, yeah, and then I mean, because for me, it's just like somebody else's pussy discharge became a blessing for us.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like at the very end, can you imagine? It's like rejected. It's horrible. I mean, I'm so sad for people, but it is what it is. It could have been one of us too. You know what I'm saying?
And thankfully, I was one of the few losers who was still single after a couple of years. So, hey,
and there was no discharge. There was no.
And I had no discharge because I was single. I wasn't with anybody.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about the drought.
Well, okay. So with that, so the first one to come in. So you two were the very last single dads that came in the show. Kiki and I were the last moms. And then you guys came in as the last dad. So we were the last crew after the first crew already had, you know, all the relationships settled. Like a week into it, we had to come a week later and shake things up, but we're not, I think they were thinking we were going to be like the Bachelor, Bachelorette, where, you know, the 20-year-olds come in and shake it up and, oh, let's go sleep with this person. No. That's not how we were. So I think they were pretty surprised. They were trying to move us to like rooms and things like that. And we were just too conservative that way. I mean, we have children. We didn't know where they were. And, you know, a lot of people are professional business people, and, you know, people are going to see everything. So it was a completely different experience than what the producers had been previously used to, right?
Yeah, and the producers even told me the day that I was coming in, one of the producers came up to me and he pulled me aside. He's like, "Listen, Joel, when you go in there, you know, go take what you want." He's like, you know, basically, no matter who's whatever, he's like, if you see someone you like, then go for it. It was interesting. I was like, okay, you know, like whatever, you know. But, you know, that's, like you said, you know, we're grown adults. We're respectful of people. We have professions. We're not going to come across like assholes. I mean, I think for the most part, you know, we have our moments, but.
Well,
exactly. So you came in with a fractured rib from the bike ride previously. So we were all sitting out there on the patio and didn't know you were coming in. And Trish, you came in with Trish, and apparently you fractured a rib on the bike when when you guys were bike riding. It was like right? Tell me about that a little. Tell us about that a little bit behind the scenes, and I'll talk. And then we're going to move into Brooks. His comment. I wanted to clear that up about Brooks.
Yeah. So basically, you know, the bike ride was we were taken to a park in the mountains about an hour north of where the house was. And, you know, so I'd been up at this point, Brooks and I both, all night, because we got told the night before we were going in to the house the next day, which means we couldn't sleep. So, and they picked us up at like 5:30 in the morning. And outside the hotel, we drive to the house, but we were just sitting outside, and they separated us. They took him wherever they took him. And I was sitting in his van. Finally, they said, "Hey, look, you're going to be going on this fun athletic date," but they didn't tell me what. Fast forward, I'm at, you know, after driving a while, we're at this you know, cool park.
And they're on a unicycle. So people, the dates, Trish and Joel were on a unicycle together.
Yeah, it was actually a tandem bike.
Oh, a tandem bike. Okay, yeah, a unicycle.
Yeah. So a unicycle.
Hey,
a unicycle, that would have been the X-rated version or the R-rated version. You know, yeah, that would have been the R-rated version.
I want to see that version.
That would have been my mom, your dad, make a baby. You know, but So what happened was I got there before her. They wanted to make sure I could ride a bike. Now I ride a lot. I mountain bike. I'm very good on bikes. So but I've never ridden a tandem bike, and it is a challenge. It's very long. It's heavy. It's like, you know, you kind of got to maneuver around on it. And then on top of that, we're going up and down these like hills because we're in like a mountainous park.
Yeah.
So I rode it around a few times. They saw that, okay, it's cool. You can do this. And then they introduced me, you know, to Trish, and we have the whole bike ride. And we go around a couple times, and Trish admitted she hadn't been on a bike since 3rd grade. So she was, I hate to say it, she was no help. And so I was basically, it was like I was like her, you know, like her driver. I was basically her driver, her chauffeur.
Reality show scenario. They know they did that for a purpose. to get.
Yeah, it definitely was. I feel like I was set up for something. I was like, I don't know what. So, but we were having fun. We get along great. We're having a fun time. We're talking, but we go around 2 times, and then one of the producers comes up to me and says, "Hey, next time you go around this turn, can you stay on the sidewalk instead of going into the street like I was doing?" I'm like, the reason why I'm doing that is because this bike, when you have 2 people on it and you're going fast, you can't turn quickly. It's like moving a battleship. It's not like moving a little boat. So they're like, "Well, can you try?" I'm like, "Dude," "I'll try." Because of course I'm like, I can do this, whatever. I'm Mr. Tough Guy bike rider. And what happened was exactly what I thought would happen. We come around the corner. I tried to make the sharp turn. It was essentially a 90-degree angle turn. And the minute we did that, we lost all of our momentum. The bike started to fall over. It fell off the sidewalk onto the street. And I was like trying to break the fall of the bike so it didn't hit her. And when that happened, the steering wheel spun around and like got me right.
The handles go
right in here. Yeah.
You land right on top of it and you go crack.
Yeah. I couldn't. We crashed. I couldn't breathe. I was hyper. It knocked the wind out of me, and I was in a lot of pain. And I looked at the producer immediately. I'm like, "I fucking told you." I was pissed off. I was like, and he's like looking at me like, he felt bad, but it was what it was. I mean, I was just angry in the moment.
You came into the house and you're like, "Oh, I'm Joel. I broke a rib."
Yeah. I think Trish said, "Yeah, this is Joel. I broke him." I think Trish said, "This is Joel. I broke him today." I'm like, "Yeah."
She broke you in, Joel.
Yeah.
So anyway, just really quickly, I wanted to just for that point, and then I'm gonna move over to Grant. People are really, really upset that your son Brooks. He said that when they were writing whatever, they edited it to where it sounded like Brooks called Trish a muppet.
Right.
And he is the sweetest kid, you guys. Everybody loves him, and they edited that. And tell us how they did that.
So the bottom line was when Brooks and Whitney were there observing, which we didn't know, observing us, right? Observing the date. And they saw Trish pull up in the limo or whatever the car she was in, the truck, forget what it was. I think it was a limo. And so when she was pulling up and they were behind her watching her, and she was like, bouncing around as the thing was moving. So Brooks just made a comment because he's funny and he's sarcastic. He's like, "Oh, she looks like a muppet." He was not calling her a muppet. He was not trying to refer to her as a muppet. He was saying she looks like a muppet.
Very well.
Her head was bouncing.
Blonde hair.
Yeah, because
she was kind of the hair.
Yeah. So all you saw was like this kind of head bouncing around, and and unfortunately, it got taken out of context, and and then so when it comes on the show, it looks like he's calling her a muppet, and then you have these like Twitter trolls and these like other crazy people that literally start attacking him, and it just making some weird like threats and physical threats to him and just bullshit.
Yeah.
And
bullshit.
So the reality is we all were like family there. And the last day, I mean, all of us were hanging out. Trish, Whitney, Brooks, they're all close. We're all good friends. There was no animosity. He was not degrading her. He was not saying anything bad about her. It was a comment that was taken out of context.
Yeah.
And the thing, one last thing, and I don't want to belabor it, but look, we were all there all the time. There was many times where us adults were talking shit and talking trash and talking stuff that could have easily been put on that would have looked like, salacious or, dramatic. And I don't know why they chose to pick the, one thing that was taken out of context when they could have taken plenty of stuff in context and put it on.
100%.
And they picked the one thing that was out of context about my 19-year-old son, who they knew that obviously Trish would be a fan favorite because she's such a great, wonderful person and everyone would love her. And I think they kind of set him up almost to be like a villain in that aspect. Whatever. I didn't like that, obviously. And whoever wants to fuck with my son, fuck with me first. And don't be a pussy. Come at me, you mother, you know what? I'll fucking deal with you.
Come on, you're going to put you in there with Don King now.
Yeah, I got him to back me up with his Don King experience.
And you all, you know what? Joel is an attorney, so you don't fuck with this kid. So just
No.
keep that on point.
You don't.
His son did not mean that way. That was not, it was taken out of context. That was an editing thing that reality shows do. Most of the show wasn't edited like that, but there were some pieces, including me, that they put things in there to piece it to create a story. But they did a really good job otherwise. But there are
Yeah. Look, that was one, and I don't like. That's why I don't want to be labored. Same with MJ. MJ got thrown under the bus on.
Exactly.
You know, and I. Bottom line is, overall, it was tremendous, and it's only a few nuts out there that like took these things out of context and went crazy with it, and that's why I even hesitate to even give it airtime, to give them like oxygen to their whatever their craziness. But anyways, it had, you know.
Attorney, so yeah, don't fuck with the son. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, let's move on to Grant. Thank you for all that info, because I wanted to clear it up with the viewers that think that that's actually what he said to her and all that. That's not the case. So Grant, I want to talk about you. So you came on while we were all in costume, and you're probably, when you popped out of the cake, you're probably like, what? what did I get into? We thought that you were a game show host for a love game. We did not know you were the Bachelor. So we were like, what did I call you when you popped out of the cake?
You called me Brant, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, Brant. You're like, Grant. I said, hey, Brant. And you go, I'm Grant, twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy because, like, you know, they had put me in a couple of different costumes, and they rolled me up from wardrobe up to the house like 4 times, and they always got right to the door and said, nah, go back and do something different. And it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So they finally settled on the outfit that I had. And, you know, because when I rolled up to the property, they're like, you know, do you want to jump out of a cake? And I'm like, hell yeah. Yeah, you know. The problem was, again, I was quite a bit overweight on the show, and I could hardly fit in the cake. So they had to, like, redo the top, right? They had to, like, cut the top and do a special inflatable thing because I was just, like, completely jammed and stuck in there. So all I saw when I got up to the cake is a dude with a tutu and wings. And
that's Jimmy.
And he's like, I'm just going to knock. He's like, hi, I'm Jimmy. I'm going to knock on this, and then you jump out. And I'm like, okay. So I just got in there, and they held me for a few seconds, and then I just started to roll, and I heard some singing, and then I heard 3 knocks, and I jumped out and saw you guys in your costumes. So,
but then, you know, it was a costume party when you went in there?
I did not know, but they had talked about the superhero costume.
Oh.
And then that day they kept asking me what I wanted to do for the superhero, but they didn't tell me why. And they just couldn't get it put together in time.
Well, didn't you say that they put like Joel's outfit on you, that like leotard on you?
No, they put like a crossing guard, like an orange or a construction worker with a see-through mesh thing with no. Do it like
what is a see-through crossing guard, like sexy crossing guard? What is up with that?
Yeah, it was the sex appeal didn't last too long, but when I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh shit, I got to put some clothes on. So
no, but you told me it was the funniest thing because you were like, oh my god, it took like an hour in costume because they trying to fit stuff on me that didn't. They're like, no, and they put on another outfit, like no, and then they end up just putting the suit on you or something.
No, nothing even close to like the superhero stuff that I was not even anywhere remotely close to. So it
looks like you're doing all the superheroes' taxes. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I was a taxman. So then first
I wanted to. Okay, so you came out and you're really super cool. Like everybody loves you. Like you're just so relaxed, and you're like, oh yeah, thanks for the drinks. It's great to come here and start having some drinks, which they only gave us alcohol just during the parties. We could not have alcohol any other time. So we maybe had 2-3 drinks at the most on these parties that you see. But outside that, it was a dry house. So, so let's move on to Kiki, because you kind of had a connection with Kiki there in the little photo booth that was starting. Things are starting to heat up a little bit. And
yeah. Because they hadn't eaten all day, right? You had breakfast, and it's like 11:30 at night by the time I got or midnight before the thing happened. Hadn't eaten all day, and then take 2 shots of vodka, which I'm not much of a drinker, so I hadn't drank in a long time.
Oh, and you're not a drinker, Mr.
Yeah,
Cheetos man.
But when I do drink, it's straight vodka. So the first thing they say is, hey, go talk to Steph. And I was like, well, who's Steph? And so they pointed to you. And so I said, well, okay. And they're like, just go take her over to the couch.
Metal Mama, man. Metal Mama.
So it took about 30 seconds to realize that Steph like had zero interest in me. And I just totally not digging me. So, you know, I wasn't big enough. I didn't have any tattoos or anything like that. So, yeah. But then, see, she knows. So that was the first thing, like just immediately getting shot down, like in 30 seconds on the show.
Oh my God.
Now we had
like this is Trisha's birthday present, and I'm just like, what is this? Like,
which would have been nice enough because nobody told me that. Like nobody tells me these things. But then like Kiki, I mean, we just sort of met eyes, and I couldn't see her because she had like the wig and the mask and everything. But we just sort of had fun and we're talking outside and went into the photo booth, and it was just like, you know, like I slapped her on the ass for some reason. I have no idea. But I did.
You were like the most appropriate and inappropriate guy on the show. I loved it. It was like edgy. I was like, yeah, that's the dude right there.
You got to be edgy. You can't be stupid. You can't be a puss.
Well, you're like Don King's promoter, man. I'm just like, you know, I mean, you're in the edge there, you know.
You got to be. Yeah, I didn't come up there to like go sit in a corner and, you know, strum on a ukulele or something. I mean, you just had to go.
Oh, hey, Trish. We just got done talking about Trish. This is Trish for the show, Miss Confidential. And Karen joined. I saw Karen join and Dania, and I don't see anybody else, but maybe I'm.
Because like when I saw Dania, we kind of just made eye contact a little bit, but then all of a sudden I see someone just reaching and grab her hand and just yank her away.
It's Scotty. It's Scotty Too Hottie.
Yeah. So.
All right. So I want to move on to you and Kiki. They share this like scene where you guys are rapping, and Kiki's like, "Woo! You just came out of the blue." I want to know, first of all, where did you learn to do that?
It's an obscure, strange skill that I developed when I was like 17, 18 years old. And when I was 19, I realized that, damn, I'm good at this. And so I used to perform all the time. I've had very close calls, labels all over the Midwest. So Minneapolis, you know, Nebraska, and, you know, where I was from, I performed at a state penitentiary. Yeah, crazy. If you have to talk about, you want to talk about bringing your A game, you have to bring an A game into the state penitentiary. Let me just
my God, totally.
You don't bring a B+ game into the penitentiary.
Oh my God. Okay, so I want you to pop something off right now for everybody. Yeah. No.
Too cringy. But then, like,
no.
You remember the show MTV Raps? You remember that? Anybody? Yo MTV Raps? Nobody?
Of course.
Does anybody on the live or any viewers remember MTV Raps? You guys?
Yeah, everybody.
Yo MTV Raps, yeah.
Yeah, I won like the big contest on that one time, and they offered me a record deal, but then they went out of business. So it was a weird career. So.
So what can you do? Can you do that rap?
I could, but maybe later. There's like, you know.
No. Just do a little bit for the people.
Nah.
Come on, Grant.
It's cringy. Let's move on. We'll move on. It's too cringy.
It's not. This is what we do. Let's go.
I'll surprise you.
Do you need me to lay down a beat?
When you least expect it, it'll happen.
When you least expect it, you'll probably see his ass.
Yeah.
No. Grant, give us something. Come on. MTV Rap, Fat Life Freddy. How's that?
Oh yeah, Fat Life Freddy.
I'm the ace with grace. I'ma win the race and make it feel disgraced in any case. Yo, people chase MC soldiers about face. There,
oh, come on. We're just getting warmed up.
That's a little taste. I gotta pay. I'm too old to be.
I love it. Awesome. Well, we got a little piece. Thank you so much. I just wanted that. What a girl wants.
Yeah.
There we go. There you go.
No one else was able to pull that out of him since then. So I don't know. You got something special going on there, Stephanie.
I'm telling you, it's not that far apart anymore. We're like just about an hour away now. So.
Yeah, it's true.
We're gonna see each other in a few weeks, hopefully.
Yep.
When you're out of the cave and into the light.
Yes.
Go Grant. That's right. Go Grant. That's good. So somebody wanted to know if we are all single. Grant, I don't know if you can say or.
Well, we're all we're all living our lives. We had
It's a very diplomat.
There's been no discussion about this, obviously, but we had an amazing time on the show together. We hit it off. I think one of the things that I think people liked about Kiki and I is we seemed very authentic, and it was because we just hit it off. We got along. And what's interesting about it is most of the stuff you see on the show was sort of like recreated conversations where we were having these really cool conversations, and then they were like, "Oh, go recreate that in this moment here." But we had so much fun, and we would just sit off in the corner and we would just laugh, and and all the emotions. You laugh, you cry. We had a good time. So we had a great time. So.
Yeah, well, one time I asked, it was so stupid. It was like, "Oh, are they like connected?" He's like, "Does it look like it?" I'm like, "Okay, fine."
So
I didn't know what was going on. I was kind of doing my own thing with everybody else, but so the daughters though, Destiny and your daughter, they were really close, and they really wanted to have this work.
Yeah, they were great. And I think they're still friends, and they still talk. And we all hung out in LA and then San Diego for a few days after the show, and we had a great time together. I mean, it was really, really fun. We just did all kinds of cool stuff, and it was great. And I think ultimately you get in situations like this, and I've read a few people comment about this, that it wasn't good planning on the production part to have people living all the way across the country from each other. And it seems more sense to have a regionalized thing where people can at least continue forward, because it's very hard to keep a relationship at our age with kids. Kiki still has a daughter who's 15, and so it's like New York City and Texas, it's just a long ways away. And
well, now towards you're like in the central Florida now, like there's half of live in Florida from the cast.
Yeah, so now I'm right here in right here in cast country where all the cast members are. So I joined a couple times. So
well, we're all on the East Coast except for
Philip
Senior and
Trish is I think she's
in Nashville by Nashville. But where's Phil? Arizona. Okay, so both the Phils are in the West Coast area.
Yeah.
And where all the rest of us are towards the whole East, Florida, all the way up to Atlanta. All the way up to where Dania is. Dania, where are you? Are you up
Baltimore.
Where is it?
She's Baltimore.
Virginia. Oh no, Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's cool. But so what was your least, for both of you? What was your least favorite part of the show? Quickly, what was that?
Joel, you start.
Least favorite part of the show. Well, I think probably just as we talked about earlier, the whole Muppet, the whole Muppet comment thing, and because it just whatever. It didn't need to be there. It was stupid. So it's just like a throwaway stupid comedy. So.
Agreed. How about you, Grant?
You know what my least favorite part of the show is? This is going to be general. This is my new marketing campaign for the show. Is honestly, I think the show sucked. I mean, it did. It was like compared to what it could have been, it was boring as hell. I mean,
it's kind of true. It's like it could have been super awesome if they would have had all the behind the scenes content, that they missed everything pretty much.
They could have broken the mold on any of this in the genre, for the dating genre, and created one of the greatest dating shows of all time, because they had so much with the kids and with us, and they chose to try to make it like a Love Island for 50-year-olds or something. And it just, I'm sorry, just like 50-year-olds, trying to fuck is boring, right? I mean, it's just not exciting.
Nobody knew anything about. I just came in, you guys just came in, and then it just ended. It's like, okay, well, who are these people?
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people who enjoy it, but people just don't realize that it was, the cameras and everything were on, and our mics were on 24/7. and we were filming, the first crew came in for a whole week. So each day is like a week, they say, in reality show, because you don't have your phones, you have no internet, you have no TV, you have nothing except for each other. And we're all staying in our, like the girls are staying in one bedroom in bunk beds. The guys are staying in another bedroom. And by the way, Joel, I have to mention this because, so Joel, I don't know if anybody knows, but Joel is called Joel the Nose. He's out of Miami. He has a YouTube. He just hit 10,000 followers. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
He has a YouTube channel, and he goes into Osmond, what is it? Go ahead and you talk about it, because I wanted to talk about the scent in the guys' room.
I mean, but yeah, I have a YouTube channel, Joel the Nose, and you can see all my stuff up here. So I review fragrances online. I make them, and there's a store in Miami. It's like the best, essentially, fragrance store in the United States. A good friend of mine owns it. It's called Osme Perfumery here in Miami. So I spent a lot of time there. I was just there before I came here. I was actually doing a video literally before I got home here. So, yeah. And so what happened was the guys' room, the guys' bunk, the bunkhouse, where we nicknamed it.
No. Let me explain it.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
It literally was the funniest thing. So the guys are right across the bunk from us. So it's just right across the hall, like 2 steps in, you're in the guys' room. But I never went in there. And the one time I go in there, I step in and I go in there to check it out. I'm like, I got to check out the guys' room. And it literally, I'm like, oh my God, it smells like farts and sweat in here. Wet. It is disgusting. And then Joel goes in there. It's like, oh, what'd you say? Oh, there's a hint of you call it noses, the high nose. Tell them what you said about.
Well, every fragrance has 3 levels: the top notes, the middle notes, which are called the heart notes, and the base notes. So the top notes, what you smell first. I walked in and I was analyzing the smell of the room with the farts. There was like a top smell of like cheese, like a top note of like I don't know, maybe a little hamburger in there, and then usually. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I was like, this is, you turned and went immediately running out. You're like, I'm out of here. This is horrible.
No, but then you said it was like the salty, like middle note of the sweat or whatever. I'm like, okay, I gotta get out of here. This is like way too detailed of a breakdown for farts and sweat. I should have done a video.
I should do a video for my YouTube channel breaking down the smell of the men's room.
Yeah.
So that was my experience going into the guys' room with Joel the Nose breaking down the farts and the sweat scent into one scent. Disgusting. It's called disgusting. That's what it's called.
Let me tell you a funny story, though. Joel was there for this. This is really funny. And this is also a window into the man's world. Every man, if they're honest, admits that the first thing they do when they end a date and get back into the car is they fart. So, right? It's true, right? So we hold it in. We hold it in. And so we would go up into the room and we would no longer hold it in, right?
It's TMI. It's TMI. Okay. Thank God it didn't waif into the women's room. Thank God we had perfume and some scents in there to push out the scent inside our room.
All right, here we go. So there was a day, and Kiki and I had already connected, but I was letting loose and doing my participation in the funk house. And she walked about 45 seconds. Like, it was less than a minute, right, Joel? It was less than a minute later. Kiki walks in and goes, "Looks pretty good in here."
That's your perfect match. That's your perfect match.
Like,
I think you need to hold off on the lactose and the gluten.
Yeah. They were meant to be together.
Okay, enough. That's so much. That's like so TMI.
Absolutely.
So let's kind of close up to talk about what you two are planning to do with the next steps here from the show. And you guys end up being like besties, best friends, right? So tell everybody what you guys are up to.
Well, we're starting a male pole dancing league. The first franchise.
Wait, Grant, we saw Joel. No, we saw him doing the moves inside the party bus that they did not show anything inside that party bus. And Joel got right up on that pole right away, like